Hi guys, welcome back to Online Learning here with Mr. Sockness for Friday, April 3rd, 2020. Before we begin today, I wanted to give you guys a couple of reminders of what some assignments are due today. So I am here on my version of my Blackboard course, and remember, if you click under the My Announcements, you won't be able to see the outside points. So what you need to go to is under My Classes, where you are the student, you are going to click the 8th grade Civics MMS Sockness 1920. So if we click that, more than likely, I have added some additional stuff here. As you can tell, I'm doing this on Saturday, March 28th. I'm just trying to get ahead of the game for us all so that if any hiccups come along the way, that I can easily fix those, but I'm able to deliver the content to you guys without any problem. Okay, so this just has my welcome back video here. If you haven't done so already, please read the welcome back kinda letter that I wrote for the course and what we're doing. I realize that I use lots of colors and lots of fonts, but hey, that's all good. So, outside points. These will be available, like I said, because I'm filming this Saturday, March 28th. I'm not making them available till March 31st. That's why it's gray here, but you would click on the two links here, and those would be your directions for your outside points. Also, I wanted to just remind you guys of yesterday's task was the discussion board. If you would do a discussion post on a traditional economy, we talked about that yesterday, and I wanted you to create a scenario in which you would participate in a traditional economy. If you can't totally remember what I'm talking about, go visit yesterday's YouTube video. At the very end, I give an example of what I would do if I were given that task. So there's your outside points, there's your discussion board. There will be one more thing that I'll point out to you when we get back to the lesson, but this is where you can find all that information on Blackboard. So today, I realized that on Fridays, we always had vocab quizzes and an opportunity to work on outside points. I have made today's class not too long as far as notes go, so that you guys can have the opportunity to work on your outside points, keeping with that theme. But as far as today goes, we are going to continue our discussion with economics. And today what we will be doing is today I will determine the various elements in producing an economy, a factor, market, and a product, so I can create a diagram to show how businesses and households share the factors of production. These are the learning intentions for today. So today I will determine various elements in producing an economy, factor market, and product market. I know that I am then, by being able to do that, I will then create a diagram to show how businesses and households share the factors of production. How will I know I have it? I know I have it when I list the 3 basic questions every economic system must answer in my notebook. I create a chart in my notebook labeling various elements for both a factor and product market. I draw a diagram describing the relationship that homes and businesses share in a factor market and product market in my notebook. I place land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship in the appropriate curve in my factor diagram. I label rent, wages, interest, profit in the appropriate curve in my factor diagram. And I show who gives products and services and who gives money in my market diagram, my product market diagram. So this is our goal for today. I mentioned to you that there was going to be one more thing that is also due before class is over with by the end of the day, and that is your CNN 10 for the week here. Please send me those when you are done. Like I said on Wednesday, you can either do these in an Office 365 document, you can do them on paper, and then send me an email with a picture of what you've done. And as a reminder, you do not have to use the CNN 10 website. You may use the Sarasota Herald Tribune tile on the My SCS page. You can watch the news on TV. You can read a magazine that has got some recent current events in it. Whatever works for you is the best way to do that. But those are due again today. All right. So your notebook should be out. And your title for your notes today are Factors of Production Notes. Before we can even begin talking about all these different types of markets, we need to come up with what are some factors, not factors of producing in the economy. What are some factors while producing in the economy? There are three basic questions for every economic system. Every economic system that we talked about yesterday, the market economy, the mixed economy, the traditional economy, the command economy, every type of economy must answer these three questions. Question number one, what to produce? What are we going to produce? Question number two, how are we going to produce it? Are we going to manufacture it? Meaning, is it going to be made in a machine? Or is it going to be made in an assembly line? Are we able to grow it? Are we able to make it through a 3D printer? Do we need people to hand make whatever the product is? How are we going to be able to produce whatever we are producing? And then the third question being for whom to produce. So what, how, and for whom are we going to produce this for? Whom are we going to produce our products for? Maybe it's not always humans. Did I fool you there for a second? Well, think about it. Pet food. It's produced, it's made, but it's not for humans. Right? There are other products. Can you think of another product that would be produced, but not necessarily for humans? Think about that. If you've got an idea, let me know. But these are the three basic questions that every economic system must answer in order for it to be successful. You also have to figure out what is your cost going to be. What is the cost to produce an item? If it costs someone $5 million to produce an iPhone, in order to even make any money off of that iPhone, you've got to at least sell it for $5,001. You would make a profit of $1. If you can make an iPhone for $100, you can sell it for $1,000, and therefore you would make a profit of $900. This doesn't take into consideration bills to be paid for how the phone was produced, the manufacturers for who's producing it, people working at the plant, all that good stuff. But what is the overall cost to produce any given item? That leads us to what are our basic factors of production. Just like yesterday, how I wrote the different types of economies in different colors, I'm doing that today for our 4 factors of production. You do not have to use different colors. However, if you want to, pause the video here, get 4 different colors that you, well, no, it's actually 3 different colors. 3 different colors that you would use for the 4 factors of production. We're not going to make a chart, we're just going to make a list. Okay? I'm going to continue though. The first factor of production is land. Why is land so important when going through producing something? Well, no matter if it's a farm, no matter if it's an assembly, plant, whatever you got, it's produced on land. Land then is a natural resource. A resource that we have here, land. In return, we then get rent. Rent to be able to use the land for producing whatever we need to produce. Second one, labor. Labor is the way of saying what you are working. If you are working, you are producing some type of labor. A lot of it is sometimes is physical labor, where you are actually physically doing something. Even when I'm teaching, that's labor. I'm talking, I'm writing, I'm producing something. That is my human resource. People that work on car mechanics, their labor to fix the car. They are using their tools, they're using their expertise, they're doing what they need to do to fix the car. That's their human resource. In return from that, we get wages. The wage meaning the money that we make for our job. The next one is capital. Capital, like money. So, what this would mean, and you might be thinking, how are wages and capital different? Wages and capital are different. Capital is, if you look here, it says it's a physical good used to produce other goods. So for example here, and I'm not even going to try handwriting this. For example here, we have a tractor, farm tractor. Why would a farmer need a tractor? Well, the tractor is purchased by the farmer I don't know why that won't, there you go. Purchased by the farmer for farming. So if a farmer buys a tractor, that tractor is the physical good used to produce other goods. That good that could be produced is any type of crop, okay? Any type of wheat, okay? All the things that farmers produce. Physical good used to produce other good, and in return, we get interest. Last one is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is also a different, maybe confusing one for you guys. I'm going to move this up here so I can get another box here. I'm going to do this with you guys. Entrepreneurship. Try to think about, before I write it down or tell you, who or what is an entrepreneur? Who or what is an entrepreneur? entrepreneur, big company that would be an entrepreneur would be Starbucks, Facebook. Those are two examples of major companies that are entrepreneurs. They saw the need for a certain service. Starbucks saw the need for a coffee shop, a nationwide coffee shop that people could sit, do work, drive through, get a fresh cup of coffee within minutes. Facebook saw the need for people to connect through the internet. It was the first kind of its form of platforms that really skyrocketed in their own certain ways. Yes, were there other coffee shops before Starbucks? Of course there were. Did MySpace exist before Facebook? Sure, but the way that these two were produced were through entrepreneurship. And this is the application of all of the above here. The land, the labor, the capital, all meant for entrepreneurship. And these entrepreneurships then lead to profit. And profit, of course, is money that people make on the product, on the good, on the service. Facebook makes tons of money. Starbucks makes tons of money. It's their profit. Okay? So those are factors of production. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to do your best. Of course, I get to cheat because I have a computer and I can find internet images. Whereas you, well, if you're doing your notes on your computer, I guess you could look up the internet images. Hey, you're going to do business and you're going to do a home. Anybody know what home this is? What TV show? Here's a story of a lovely lady. Let that be your hint. Hey, you're going to need an arrow from the home to the business, and you need another arrow from the business to the home. This is going to be our diagram for our factor market. What does the home give the business in a factor market, and what does the business give the home? So we are going to use all of these factors of production in the curve here. Well, just think about it. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. Does that sound like that would be something that the home would give? Would you give land? Would you give labor? Would you give capital? Would you participate in entrepreneurship? Or would the business provide the land, provide the labor, provide the capital, provide the entrepreneurship? Vice versa. Would the home provide rent, wages, interest, or profit for the business? Or would the business provide rent, wages, interest, or profit? Well, even if you're not totally sure about one of them, you know that this is a group and this is a group. I can't take land and say land, wages, interest, entrepreneurship. I can't do labor, rent, interest, profit. So hopefully the one that really strikes you the most would be labor. And that labor would be something that you, the worker, would give to the business. Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Those things go to the business side. All of those resources in our factor market come over to the business. The land is from the home to the business. The labor is from the home to the business. The item that we buy, like that tractor, is from the home to the business. The entrepreneurship, the idea, came from the home, now with the business. which leaves then rent, wages, interest, and profit from the business to the home. The business is going to provide rent for people to pay for their homes. They're going to provide wages for the labor. The amount of goods that we use to produce the other good is going to provide the interest. And the entrepreneurship from the home hopefully results in a profit that goes right back to the home. So this is our factor market diagram. If I went too fast or you're not done drawing, just simply pause the video. We've got one more market that we need to look at, and that is our product market. This one's even simpler, if you can believe it or not. Still, we've got a home, we've got a business. Now, we did not label the product market factors because when you see them, they're just going to totally make sense, hopefully. If I can find the box, there it is. The home is going to provide money to the business. Products, goods, and services are going to be provided from the business to the home. For example, if you look at Starbucks, hey, that was one of the entrepreneurships. Hey, Starbucks provides coffee, pastries, water, all that the business is giving is going right to the home. The home then, in order to get the products, goods, and services, you're getting money. The business is getting money. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward that way. Questions? Please let me know, but that is it for your notes for today. I want to go over your outside points here that are due April 10th. It is week 29 outside points, so you are getting them Friday. And just as traditional, you have until the following Friday to do them. And we're going to go back to our topic of scarcity. We're going to do a scarcity scavenger hunt. At the beginning of the week, we discussed scarcity. There are certain items that are scarce today and even in your own home. Your task is to find 3 items in your home that are scarce and write a report on your scarce items. It must include a definition of what is scarcity. 1 to 2 sentences. 3 paragraphs explaining why each of your 3 items are scarce. So you are going to need to justify why you chose item A, B, and C as your items that are scarce. It needs to be a minimum 5-sentence paragraph requirement, so 3 paragraphs, 5 sentences at bare minimum. And you need to send it to Mr. Stockmus via the Office 365 document titled OSP 29, or you can handwrite this and send me a picture. Hey, when we do our Zoom virtual classes, if that's assignments that you've got, you can just put your assignment in front of the camera and say, hey, here it's done, and just give me a minute to review it, and then we'll be good to go. So we are going to look at my example on the next page. First mini paragraph per se. Scarcity is defined as a limited resources with unlimited wants. In my house there are many scarce items I want, but everyone needs to use. Now, this is my example. This is not my household, trust me. But it could be a reflection of yours. First paragraph. The first scarce resource that comes to mind in my house is ketchup. For the past several nights, my family has used ketchup with our dinner. Nobody has really paid attention to how much ketchup they have been using. Therefore, Our ketchup is now scarce because everyone is going to want to use it, but there is not enough to satisfy everyone's true want. Since we are only going to Publix once per week, typo, and we already went this week, my family will have to figure out how to solve our unlimited want with our limited resource. Tonight, when we have hamburgers, we are going to use tablespoons to ensure everyone receives an equal amount of ketchup. That's paragraph 1. You've explained to me that ketchup is your scarce item. You've explained to me why it's scarce, and you're going to explain to me a little bit of a solution here that you have. Next one. Another item that is scarce in my house is the amount of time I get on the computer. Between my brother and I, we share one computer. Both of us want to use the computer to play video games and, of course, complete Mr. Stockness' homework and watch his amazing videos. However, with the limited number of computers that we have, meaning one, we must share. The computer is a scarce item because my brother and I both want the computer, but there is only one. Once again, you've identified the item, you've given me an example of why it's scarce, and you come up with a little bit of a solution. You're sharing. Last paragraph. Also, the amount of data that my family has is a limited resource. My family has a data plan that allows 8 gigabytes of data per month. I always want to be on my phone and everywhere I go. I do not always have the ability to connect to Wi-Fi. Therefore, for example, if my family members are driving to Tampa, we do not use our phones in order to save our data. While I really want to use my phone when I go on drives with my family, I know that my data is scarce. It is a limited resource, the 8 gigabytes, but everyone wants to use it. That is my modeling for you so that you know what the expectations are for Outside Points Week 29. This will be kept here in the video as well as posted on Blackboard. Now, cursive on the next slide. Because we are not doing vocab quizzes, and I'm not making you write down vocab, how I'm going to change up cursive is I am going to find some definitions throughout the week to make sure that you keep up with rewriting the definitions at least once. So we have economics, we have scarcity, market economy, command economy, traditional economy, and a mixed economy. So that is what I want you to complete that way to re-emphasize those definitions. But going back before we conclude today to our learning intentions and success criteria, I believe that if you completed this video, you should have determined various elements in producing an economy, a factor market, and a product market, so that you created that diagram to show how businesses and households share the factors of productions. We listed together the 3 basic questions every economic system has. You created a chart in the notebook labeling various elements for a factor and product market. You drew a diagram describing the relationships that homes and businesses share in a factor and product market. You placed land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship in the curve. For the factor diagram, you put rent, wages, interest, profit in the appropriate curve in the factor diagram, and then you showed who gives products, services, and who gives money in the market diagram. Okay, that is product market diagram. That's it for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If not, I hope you have an awesome weekend. Remember to stay healthy, stay happy, enjoy the time off, another weekend here, and I will see you guys per se on Monday. Do your outside points, get your stuff turned in. We'll talk to you later.